places, different occupations, but we made it all in one. And we are now called land and housing because our goal and our aim was to create a unity amongst occupiers. Now the city of Cape Town knows how to deal with us. They don't just come to our occupations because whenever they come, if I wake up, I say, do you have any papers to wake me up? Even before I open my eyes, because I have knowledge of law. I know I have exactly how to treat them if they come to my space. Thank you so much, Chesimani. Thank you, Zelda. Thank you, I said one daughter for bringing us together like this. We are united as one. Thank you.
We've lost a comrade in the struggle at the hands of a man. So I think that's only the best thing for us to do is a minute of silence. If we can all stand and take your capsule, please. Amanda. Thanks, Chisimani, for giving us the opportunity to be here. And I think this space is a space where total occupiers.
Can you check on our Facebook page?
And we always say that we need to bring our struggles together. And I think under this group, our struggles was brought together. We've met so many wonderful people. But when you occupy these middle class, and it's not, I won't say all the middle class, but mainly the middle class in the city, when they see the poor and the ugly and the dirty, they associate us with a lot of the spaces where we go. And that is one of the things that we see within the city. And I think with these pictures, it's a true reflection of where we are staying and where we are coming from. And I think today also we told the city that we don't want to live like this anymore. We are tired because it feels for us that we must occupy before we qualify for a home. So the waiting list is there, the database is there, but we will still find people that stay for many years, 20 years in the occupation. So how can that be okay within the city? So for us as Housing Assembly, we would like to say thank you again to Chisimani for allowing us also to make use of this space. But the space is not just only about housing, it's about the water, and that is a necessity in our life. Some of our occupations don't have that. Some of the water tanks are withdrawn in some of the areas. So it's about electricity. Our children are struggling to cope with school because they don't have the luxury of electricity. So some of our children are falling through the cracks. And it seems like the city and education department don't care about our children, what is happening. So for us as occupiers, we are saying we're going nowhere slowly, but we're going to fight this fight. I know the comrade was speaking about the comrade for so many years, the struggle, and we didn't fight for the struggle. But I think, comrades, it's not going to end now. It's only the beginning of a long fight that we have to fight. So I would say I need to continue on.
So, comrades, my name is Karen Hendricks, and I live in an occupation in Woodstock. An occupation that was occupied by a movement called Reclaim the City. And so, for comrades from Reclaim the City, and people like myself, where we are, where we live matters to us. But I want to take this a little deeper tonight, because many of us sitting here tonight in this room are occupiers. We are not just occupiers who meet in this space so that we can just look at one another tonight because I've been feeling very emotional because of all the social challenges that people have to go through in occupations. And so one of those very, very burning matters that people have to go through, particularly women, is gender-based violence. And so tonight, I want to tell you all that if you're a woman and you're an occupier, living in an occupation, that who you are matters. Who women are matters. Who occupiers are matters. And I will say it out. Hashtag I'm an occupier. A luta continua.
This one's better. Thank you, comrades. I'm humbled by this because this just does remind me, in my mind, that this evidence of a living, walking, breathing proof that the land struggle is a feminist struggle. They lead 3 movements. Became the city, Sibabalaba, and houses, chosen democratically to be the leadership of this nation. Without, these are touching issues. Without comrades wasting any time, because I'm here just for a few minutes, I would like us perhaps to just recap. Some might be wondering, why are we gathered here today? Why on this rainy day, cold day, when we are so used to endless days of warmth and nights, but this cold we are here from different occupations across the city. Why we didn't do this last week? Why didn't do this last year? Tomorrow, next week? Why today? What's significant about this day, particularly these 2 days, 30th and 31st March in 2021? I'm going to ask my sister, my comrades, my colleague Pili. I think Pili, come forward, please. I stumbled over my words now.
We are all gathered here, most of us as occupiers, as people who are really just fighting to provide a home in this city that denies women, people, and people something as basic as privacy, as space, in this city that denies young people their aspirations, in this city that allows property developers and the rich to get away with murder, while ordinary people are being criminalized. And so what I've been asked to do is to draw the links very briefly on why this date is important. We all know about 7 July 1950 when the Group Area Act was proclaimed. But it was on the 30th of March, actually yesterday, when Cape Town
what you see in the Transvaal and other places were given the green light to go ahead and push the bulldozers and to demolish and to dump ordinary people in far away, distant lands, uninhabitable lands where they couldn't really raise their children. So many people's dreams were actually destroyed on the 30th of March. But that is part of a very long history that starts before 1950, that goes far, far back. And I suppose we are here today to say we are part of a longer movement of justice, and a longer movement of freedom, and a longer movement of equality. But more importantly, we are here to push back. As we know, the city of Cape Town is ramping up its operations to repress occupiers and to repress occupations. We know that the city of Cape Town continues to fight using the law, using repressive means, using divisive tactics like putting billboards in townships and telling the poor against each other. And we are here, all of us, to say enough and no more. We are here to basically say that you can't get away with this. We are not passive. We are organizing, as Comrade Barbara and Yashipa and others have said. We are organizing, we've been organizing, we've been coming together under very difficult conditions of a lockdown to say that we are building this movement. And we are taking over from where you failed to imagine a city that is just and that meets the needs of its residents instead of criminalizing people. So with those words, comrades, I'll hand over to Comrade Sifiwe, but to say, clean up, clean up. Clean up, clean up, clean up, clean up.
Thank you, Comrade Pini. Mkabane, we might sound like we're stubborn. We have to avoid congestion all the time. There is space for about 8 comrades in the breakaway where you witness everything that you are doing. You are part of this. So I think my compliment, can you help maybe the comrades point them towards 0? We just volunteer ourselves, we can't point people comrades, but we always just have to keep the distance. Please.
So comrades, in B, we had a problem, technical problem, so we had to disperse people to others.
Makabani, when we started, we saw here that the comrades from Makabani in Fairport, the community that is facing endless repression from this indifferent city. They brought us here a group. I'm sure some of you can see the original cell phones in front of us here, where we really called upon a lot of people when there was famine happening. They stopped to ask what's happening. So that means that the ancestral sounds, they really called from where they are. I am very, very pleased that the comrades from Takabandu have not just brought here the drums, but a voice that is really reflective of the hardships of people in occupations, areas that are not serviced, where there is no toilet, no water, no electricity, no roads, not in any way you can get any help, any civil service. They just cannot get to you. You have to find a way. So I think it is in keeping with the comrades that I said that we are people, we are people, and people need to be treated as people. Because the people that are dealing with property market that are trying with gentrification, they do not see people. They see elements to move out of the way so that they can build their high-rise buildings and rent out the places and just increase the value of properties around them. the fact that people's lives are crushed in the process is not something that we're interested in. So, okay, Akaban.
From here to Cairo, Morocco to Madagascar. From here to Tanzania,
everybody come to say that we're here. We are here. I think it's that time that maybe get out of our chairs and stretch our legs a little bit, but this way. You see the comrades that you are here, my three sisters. We want to offer a chance for comrades to go and meet, to know a bit more about the organizations that they are leading. So we have 3 places that we have prepared for, that they have prepared for us to come and learn more. Because if in the struggle we succeed and sometimes we fail, but in all those moments, if we fail to learn, then the experience is not good. So we are going to learn some more comrades from the House of Assembly, the collective that Kashifa is leading, are going to be in the long room. So we are going to divide ourselves now to 3 spaces. Luckily, all these spaces are on the same. We don't have to go to the other end of the building. It's the comrades that are on that side that they will just have to move a little bit. So in the long room, we should go via these stairs. Comrade Tabo is going to stand there and tell you where Africa. Tabo is going to stand on that side and usher comrades in the long room where Housing Assembly is settled, where they will kind of take a deep dive into this struggle. And then on this passage, Comrade Mandi, where Comrade Mandi, that's through that door, you will see Comrade Mandi, who's you are adopted member of the So Comrade Mandi is going to take people to where Sinabalaba is settled, which is like down the passage here. And then there is Karen. Karen was here, my comrade who was in the red. Karen is going to take him across the room to opposite where the cinema is situated, where Reclaim the City is situated. And I look forward to this. I made this comment a lot, and I look forward to this because there is no finish line in learning what that struggle is about and where it goes. There is no finish line. So I'm going to ask us in a very disciplined way. I know there have been difficulties. Some comrades have moved this side. That kind of upset how we kind of were planning to do this. So I'm going to perhaps ask that from this side, Mrs. Barbara is sitting, that pole, Marcos book, West also is standing. I think this side of the room. Can the increase maybe be the ones that are going to move to House of Assembly? That side. No, wait. We must allow others also to hear where they are going. Comrades, I think the trauma, you said, okay, then the comrades that are sitting on the couch, right up to where EP, Mandi, where we're standing, then they will go across the room to RTC, but there are spaces with bigger room, and then the comrades that are on that side of the room are just going to move further down the passage to Western Abalawas. Barbara and the team will be waiting for you there. Comrades, we are doing this for this reason. Like Billy was saying here, that what is happening now is a chapter of a long story. How the comrades are dealing with it now is important. What tactics and strategies they're employing now is important. Because our struggles kind of assumed a very interesting dynamic after we were given this right to vote and we were told that we were free. So it kind of shifted a bit in terms of how we approach the struggle. So let's learn there in terms of how comrades are dealing with this. Comrades, we have 10 minutes to allow the comrades to take you through that and ask a few questions. We might take a number for following up later. This is just a way of trying to consolidate the conduct that we have, and then comrades can follow on later on. We will never stop learning. Because as we are sitting here, a community is being evicted. As we are sitting here, a woman is being killed. As we are sitting here, another settlement is on fire. Yes. So I think there's never a finish line. So we can move comrades. This side to have an assembly, this side to that side. I get
Tell us a little bit what are we looking at?
Okay, so for the sake of time, we are not going to draw this out very long, but I will tell you who Reclaim the City is. I'll also tell you how many buildings we occupy, because we do not we are occupying buildings and not land as such. And the buildings that you are occupying are government buildings. So, Reclaim the City is a movement of poor and working class people fighting to stop the displacement of poor and working class people from the inner city to the periphery of the city. We do so by resisting evictions, and we also do so by fighting for decent, adequate, and affordable housing in the inner city or in well-located areas where there are social amenities and also economic opportunities. For example, we want to live in a city where people have access to schools, to hospitals, to places of work. For many, many years, for decades, we have been deprived as poor and working class people from living in this city. This city that has all that to offer, from jobs to universities, to schools, to places of work and hospitals. So many of us have lived in the inner city and worked in the inner city for decades. Some of us have been living in the inner city for generations. In fact, generations of our families have been born and have lived in suburbs such as